I'm gonna just let it play. Fuck it.
in red pill spaces and black pill spaces. From
Okay.
black pill, basically centering around usually young, white, or even men of color, young men who feel that their lives are the way they are because of their looks, purely because of looks. It's the belief that everything in life revolves around the way you look. Obviously, the halo effect is real, but I don't want to get completely into the black pill, but you can see that's a bit of a victim complex.
So she's like, oh yeah, it's real, but also you're being a victim. Well, which is it, right? And then the other thing is that the black pill and looks maxing, it's mostly focusing on relationships, not so much. I don't know. Let's say if you want to get a high earning career, get into a higher earning career. Um, we know that you need to develop your skills. We know that you need to put an effort and study. But like even that is loosely tied to the halo effect because people will give you more chances and they'll be willing to help you more, which will therefore allow you to gain more knowledge and progress and move up the ladder. So even that is loosely tied to looks. I don't understand why she's so ready to brush it off and kind of say, oh, let's ignore the halo effect and let's just say that men are have this victim complex. I don't think that's accurate.
Blaming anything that might have happened in your life that might have been because of your mistakes, basically putting that all onto the fact that you might not be the most attractive person. And when we look at the red pill, we can observe men blaming all of their problems on women. So why do I think
She's so dumb. The red pill. She says the red pill is men blaming all their problems on women. That's just not correct at all. That's not what the red pill is about. The red pill is just saying be more inquisitive, question everything. Just because society told you that this is what women are doesn't mean you have to follow blindly, right? It's not saying that women are bad or women are good. It's just saying, be more skeptical and analyze case by case.
that we are starting to echo this in feminism? Now, I want to introduce you to a term called.
Also, real quick, in the beginning, she kind of compares like, oh, feminism is kind of moving away from uplifting women and more victim complex or kind of targeting men or blaming men. And she compared it to the black pill and the so-called incel movement, whatever that means. I think those are completely different phenomena because feminism is actually being employed in real time, right? We're talking about hypergamy. We're talking about women complaining about the patriarchy. We're talking about, governments, the government forcing extra resources and focusing on helping women and pretty much abandoning men in society versus the so-called incel lux maxing black pill that pretty much just stays in it online and it shapes people's it is more like a conversation.
Bioessentialism. I was only recently introduced to it, but I've been aware
I'm gonna
of
skip this because this is dumb. I already sat
this
through this a
common
little
and
bit.
annoying rhetoric going around that men are inherently evil purely because of their biology. That thing between their legs is what makes them so violent, or violent on a higher scale than we see in women. And wow, when we look at testosterone, the differences between testosterone and estrogen, obviously testosterone tends to make you a bit more angry in certain ways, but obviously just testosterone alone will not make men commit these crimes that we see on such higher scales. I believe that.
Yeah, I think that it's a little bit inaccurate to say that testosterone equals more angry, right? I think that maybe an imbalance, right? If you see someone, let's say who takes steroids and has um, has an imbalance in, too much, has too much testosterone, but that's not natural, right? So that's an exception to the rule. um I don't agree with that statement.
While there is a biological component to it, it is mostly the socialization. Whenever girls are young, they often hear things like boys will be boys, and boys often are expected to be less mature than women from an earlier age.
What are you talking about? Again, this is all of this is a lie. But when people say boys will be boys, I've only heard that in movies, right? I've never been expected to be less mature than a woman, my counterpart, a woman my age. And that's never happened, literally not one time. What is she talking about?
So instead of saying that we need to focus on the socialization and maybe making the world better for boys, specifically so that way men and boys can express themselves more, so that way boys aren't really condemned for crying or showing emotion or liking feminine things. There are feminine traits and there are masculine traits, and that's fine. We should not be ashamed of either of them. That's another rhetoric that I've been seeing going around recently as well in regards to feminism. There was a person who basically had a live stream going where they were saying...
Sorry. It's just like, she thinks that, let's allow men to express their emotions, and we'll all hold our hands and like hippies, and we are the world, we are the people, that type of bullshit. And they think, that's going to solve everything. No, that doesn't change a thing. And the reason why she thinks this is somehow going to solve everything, because she's not in the front lines. She's not working in the warehouses. She's not, in construction. She doesn't ever have to worry about dying in wars. So none of these things even cross her mind. She thinks, it's all about men, and we gotta help them express their emotions. Get the fuck out of here.
Men crying is not feminine. And I went up there and I was like, I obviously do not think that there is anything wrong with a man crying. Men should show their emotions. It's healthy, and it can be unhealthy if your emotions build up too much. Not saying to constantly be emotional, but if you have a partner or someone you can, confide in, it is very healthy to express your emotions in a healthy way without hurting anyone. And I said, whenever you put it in the way that men crying is not feminine, even if you don't intend to, you're basically attributing feminine as a trait to being something negative.
Okay, so I think she misunderstood. So the saying is, men crying isn't feminine. That's accurate. That's correct, because the act of crying isn't gendered, right? You can't say women crying is feminine, or men crying is feminine, or feminine or masculine, right? Because the trait of being feminine or masculine isn't a trait of crying, right? You could say people cry. So
because for most of men's entire lives, they will hear phrases like "boys should not cry," "boys crying is weak." So if we associate
so she doesn't know. She doesn't know what she's talking about. I have heard that, right? But men shouldn't cry. But that's just this little I don't know, this little soundbite, this thing that you see in the media. The full phrase or the full meaning behind it is, yeah, men can cry, but they shouldn't just dwell on it. They have to move past, and they have to actually take action. That's what that saying is kind of trying to convey. So she's wrong again.
Feminine, obviously we could see a problem there. But why am I bringing up bioessentialism? And what am I really even getting at whenever I say that feminism is becoming dangerous? Well...
Are you serious? Pause this shit. This is so fucking stupid.
Well, we have to acknowledge that trans people do exist. And
I'm
even
literally
people
like
who are
100
accepting
degree
of
in here.
trans women specifically, because trans men are never talked about.
I'll
That's
pause
just how
this.
it is, because trans men are not. That the incel movement, that the alt-right pipeline and the red pill movement are rising. Well, luckily, I think that the red pill movement has been going down, but the black pill movement, that shit is on a rise fast. You have Clavicular, you have Cookie King, and I didn't realize that so many people took these men seriously. But even though,
Yeah, it's just like these women. She's like, oh, I didn't realize people took him seriously. Number one, she's already trying to brainwash you. She's saying, hey, this is beneath me and it should also be beneath you, so don't even bother getting into it or analyzing or having an honest conversation. Let's just both agree that it's just beneath us, and I can't believe people listen to him. That's number one. Number two is, based off of what she said in the beginning, she clearly doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. She doesn't know what the black pill is.
a lot of people would say things like, you should not have empathy for these people who clearly just hate women and need to take out their ideologies. Like they have hatred in their heart. I took my time the other day to look through one of these very harsh right-wing accounts. I did come across a lot of disturbing things, but also a lot of posts and reposts basically just expressing extreme sadness. And while I think it is perfectly reasonable, if you do not want to hold much empathy for these types of people, in my belief, especially if they are younger, if these...
I'm sorry, I feel like I should be stopping more because she's just yapping, and in every other every other word she says some bullshit. I'm gonna have to go back. Sorry.
I need to take out their ideologies. Like they have hatred in their heart.
Okay, so yeah, men don't hate women, right? We just take a step back and we look at this objectively. We may hate things that women do, things that women say, their actions, right? But it's never personal. It is what it is.
I took my time the other day to look through one of these very harsh right-wing accounts. I did come across a lot of disturbing things, but also a lot of posts and reposts basically just expressing extreme sadness. And while I think it is perfectly reasonable, if you do not want to hold much empathy for these types of people, in my belief, especially if they are younger, if these men are, boys then, under the age of 18, and they might be hearing things about how biologically they are just more violent, that could be used as an excuse. That, yes, you know what, biologically I am more violent, so I should not be condemned for my actions because it is my natural state. And that's where we get into that...
No, that would never work, right? It's illogical. Because men will instantly say, well, it doesn't matter whether or not you're inherently, right, theoretically, again, according to these people, that men are inherently more violent or evil. That's still not an excuse to not uphold honor and justice and certain moral conducts, right, that are already agreed within society. It doesn't matter if, oh, I couldn't help myself, or oh, it's in my genetics. That's not how men think.
Difficult conversation of
Right? It's like she's kind of saying, oh, out of spite, men will say, well, if women call us inherently evil or inherently violent, then we'll show them, right? We'll spite them. It's vengeance. But no, that's she's making that assumption and argument from her point of view. That's how women think. That's not how men think.
Are we trying to achieve as feminists right now? Because what I'm trying, we look at the pay gap. We look at the fact that more feminine jobs are...
Yeah, literally the pay gap is illegal, right? And I would even go the opposite, is that I've worked numerous warehouse jobs. There hasn't been a single woman that has worked more than I have, and we're getting paid the exact same minimum wage. But the thing is they don't look at those types of jobs, right? They only see, oh, I feel like I need to be a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. I feel like I need to be making 200K a year, sending emails, sitting on my air conditioned office, right? And you ask women, okay, well, did women, um, I don't know, invent the medical field? Did women create these positions that they're so, uh, they're foaming at the mouth to obtain? No, they didn't. And when you look at even in the universities, who wrote the textbooks, right? These women who go into all these lawyers and nursing and all this stuff, right? And accounting. Who wrote the subject matter? Men created the jobs.
As accepted or not as paid well. Like when we look at, nursing, healthcare, teaching, things like that, a lot of these jobs are underpaid and they're more feminine jobs.
Again, it's just like the correlation or the connection is just incorrect, right? Yeah, they're getting underpaid, but guess what? Literally every other person is getting underpaid. It's not a man or woman problem. It's a wealth inequality problem, right? It's the greed, the rich and powerful who don't want to give back. They want to subjugate the working class. That's what it's about.
And they should be appreciated more and accepted more into society. But with that being said, I think this incredible victim complex that we have been observing is dangerous, not only for men, for women especially, because it is like tied up in this cute little bow. Like for men, whenever we have the red pill, it's very blatant in your face. We do not like women. We think that women should be raped. We think that
Whoa.
pedophilia is okay.
Huh?
And then whenever we look at these, women,
No, wait,
it's
what?
like not only for, I think this incredible victim complex that we have been observing is dangerous, not only for men, for women especially, because it is like tied up in this cute little bow. Like for men, whenever we have the red pill, it's very blatant in your face. We do not like women. We think that women should be raped. We think that pedophilia is okay.
No, that's crazy.
And then whenever we look at these, women.
Wait, so she thinks that's
dangerous, not only for men, incredible victim, women especially, because it is like tied up in this cute little bow. Like for men, whenever we have the red pill, it's very
she thinks that's what the red pill is?
We do not like
that's
women.
Crazy.
We think that women should be raped. We think that pedophilia is okay. And then whenever we look at these, women.
See, this is exposing the Western woman, right? Didn't I just make a video about the Western woman? This is a modern Western woman. This is what they think about us. They think men want to do this, what she just said. That's crazy.
It's like wrapped in divine feminism, like divine womanhood, divine femininity. Like this is just being like, I'm going into my true feminine self. And this is often very, very marketable, or it's a good selling point for younger women who may feel very ashamed of themselves, especially in this era of incel culture, red pill culture.
Again, blaming men. She's like, oh, so women feel ashamed. Okay, fine. That's not our problem, but okay. Women feel ashamed, and then they hear this rhetoric of the divine woman, which kind of says that they're superior to men, and somehow all of these bigoted ideas are because of incels. What the
ashamed of themselves, especially in this era of incel culture, red pill culture. They might feel sad and not accepted by society as a young woman, and also fear mongering goes into it as well. A lot of girls are told by their fathers that men are just, oh my god, you cannot date them, be careful, they're so dangerous. Every girl, if you have a father figure in your life, has probably told you something along those lines. So when you're having those,
yeah, and the reason why they say that is because they know that women are careless, right? They can't conceptualize violence. You've seen them. They get blackout drunk. They're promiscuous nowadays, so they could catch STDs. And I've heard, places like Houston, It's rampant. They have they become single mothers. So yeah, why do you think fathers warn their daughters? It's not so much because all men are like that. It's because women are naive, right? Because women don't know how to vet men. I'm not victim blaming. It's both sides, right? It's both sides.
Feelings of rejection and fear, seeing these things that you are just so much better than everything else because of your thing in between your legs, because of your uterus, because of the fact that you can bring life into this world. Once we start making rhetoric like that, that can be dangerous. But I'm starting to repeat myself here, so I'm going to close it out at that. I know this is a shorter video, but I really wanted to make...
Yeah, that ending was crazy. But it's good. Like I said, it's exposing women. This is what they think about you. Um, it's so convenient that now that men pretty much established society the way that it is now, right? We did all the hard work in the beginning. Because you have to understand, right? It's infinitely more difficult to, let's say, discover how to harness electricity. It's in its inception, in its beginnings. It was a very hazardous occupation, right? But now that men pretty much have things like OSHA and all the safety surrounding it, then suddenly women are like, okay, let me get in there and get paid. I'm being oppressed because they don't allow me to be an electrician. Oh, how convenient, huh? How convenient now that everything is all nice and safe, and uh, you know, the groundwork is laid in front of you. Now they want to take control.